No matter whether you are driving in the morning on your way to work, and navigating this metropolitan traffic, most, if not all of us, will find ourselves at a traffic light having to wait for it to change. Or maybe you don't drive, you use public transportation. Most, if not all times, whether we're going to the bus stop or to a train stop, we have to wait. Whether you're a young person who likes technology and is always on their phone and is always either on social media or some sort of digital device, whether you're looking at YouTube or even messing with YouTube, you have to sometimes wait for videos that you want to watch to be uploaded. So it seems like that all of us find ourselves, no matter our age, no matter our gender or our social status, all of us find ourselves at times having to wait. And I don't know about you, I just want to kind of be transparent this morning because I think this message is more for me than it is for you, because none of y'all have any problem with waiting. If I could be just dead honest, I despise waiting. I just don't like it. I don't like waiting for coffee.
Nope.
I don't like waiting in line. Pam will tell you I don't like waiting in lines.
Yeah.
I definitely despise waiting in traffic.
Oh, that's something else. I need prayer.
Because waiting, I don't know how it is with you, waiting gets on my nerves. It irritates me because it requires a degree of patience.
Amen.
And honestly, I think at times I'm just impatient. And needless to say, I think in this hurry-up society that we live in, where technology has us instantly connected, we can talk to people across the world, we can, we can do so much at our fingertips. I think this hurry-up society has, maybe not you, but for me, it has negatively impacted my desire to wait when God says wait.
Yes. Okay.
When God says wait, or when God isn't moving as quickly as you and I think God should, it becomes a painful process to have to wait. Okay. You know how when you've been telling your child and you've been praying for your child and you've been constantly showing your child, but for some reason or another, you've even been petitioning God on behalf of your child, but for some reason or another, they still haven't seemed to turn that corner yet, and you have to wait.
Yes.
Or perhaps that spouse, that significant other that you've been pleading with God that this person would get themselves together so that the relationship would get stronger and it would develop better. But for some reason or another, they still seem to behave in the same way that they've been behaving for so long, because and then you have to wait until until the change
That's right.
comes. I mean, some of us even have to do this when it comes to employment and
Come on, Pastor.
waiting for employment or waiting for a promotion to happen. Others have been waiting for the opportunities of advancement and development, and waiting sometimes can be painful.
Yes.
Sometimes waiting for God to do something, waiting on God to move something, waiting on God to change something. Sometimes it can be very painful rather than pleasurable. And we want to look at Psalm 37 today and see how it is that we learn to wait
Yes.
when God says wait.
Yeah.
That's right.
How do we enhance the experience of waiting so that waiting is not so painful, but it is more pleasurable and purposeful, and it's not something that is agonizing, but it is now something that I can navigate and migrate my way through it,
Yes.
because God says you gotta wait.
Gotta wait.
David has to share this with some of his close followers, because they are struggling with, I don't know if you've ever struggled with this, but they're struggling with seeing people who don't do right
Say
do
it.
well.
There it is.
Oh.
That's
They're struggling with seeing people who do not care about God
Yes.
prosper.
Prosper. Say it better.
They're struggling with the day-to-day life of seeing how is it that a family that can disregard God
Yes.
seem to be so successful, but then there's a family that loves God, and there's some people who honor God and live for God, but yet they're not experiencing the same success.
All right, Pastor.
Yes, Pastor.
They find themselves having to wait. And David wants to help people understand this process that seems so painful.
Amen.
Because it can be painful to see your relationship not grow, but others growing.
Yeah, that part.
It can be painful to see other people's children prospering, and they don't even care about God,
Yeah.
but yet your child or children are struggling. It can be painful to see other people financially just growing.
Just growing.
And yet here you give to God, you support the ministries of God, you do what God says do, but yet
Yes.
seems like you're the one that always has to wait.
Always.
How do we navigate through this thing that David wants to help them? He wants to share. He shares with them how you make this thing less painful
Amen.
than it can appear to be. And one of the first things he wants them to understand is that when you're waiting, when you have to wait, when it's not now but later, it's not right now, and you're seeing others having their right now.
Right, I know.
Yeah, when you see others having their right now,
Right now.
but your right now is later.
Right.
He wants them to understand something, and this is critical. He's talking to me. He's not talking to y'all. What he wants them to know is that your emotions have to be in check. It's
Emotionally strong.
you emotionally have to have a degree of strength so that waiting is not so painful.
Right.
See, it's what happens with so many, not y'all, me, what happens with me when I have to wait is I get in my emotion. I know y'all don't
All
struggle
right,
with
Pastor.
that.
All right, Pastor.
But my emotions get affected by having to wait. And then I get hung up in my emotions
Right.
because I'm waiting. And I can, see, I know y'all don't have to deal with this, but I can get mad with the barista because I feel like I'm waiting too long. And I don't care what may have happened on earlier during his day or earlier with her family,
Right.
or anything like that, but if I find myself waiting too long in traffic, I can get mad with the person in the car ahead of me. I know y'all don't have to deal with that, but for me, I can get angry with somebody I don't even know.
Yes. Okay. That's how it happens.
Because I'm in my emotions.
Right.
Because I'm in my emotions. Now, let's look at it in verses 1 and 2, because this is what he says. He says, now look, don't fret because of those who are evil, or be envious of those who do wrong.
Right.
And this is why. For like the grass, they will soon wither.
Yeah.
Like green plants, they will soon die away.
Yep.
What David wants what he wants his followers to understand is that when you're waiting, you have to make sure that emotionally you're strong.
Yes.
That you do not allow your emotions to get the best of you because you're on pause for a moment. He says, look, don't fret. Fretting is an anxiety that is not only irritating to you, it's irritating to those that are around you. He says, don't fret because of those who are evil, because your fretting will lead to envy.
Envy. It sure will, Pastor. Go ahead.
That's it for a second.
I know, right? I'm already resentful. What else?
When I'm fussing and fretting, it leads to something else.
Okay.
I have to have my emotions in check, because if I'm running off my emotions, it'll lead me somewhere I don't need to go.
Yeah.
He says, fretting, don't fret because you'll become envious.
That's it.
Don't fret because you'll become envious. Envious means that you'll want.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right.
Okay.
What somebody else has,
Yes.
because you don't have it.
And there you have it.
In other words, if my emotions are not in check, if I'm not emotionally strong, and I'm running around here fretting and fussing because I have to wait, then what happens is I can become envious of what somebody else has, and I want what they have, but I'm not supposed to have what they have.
All right, Pastor, preach.
In other words, what I'm saying to God is what you have for me is not good enough for me, but what I want is what they have.
All right, preach.
Oh man, I'm just arrogant.
It's see some of us may not understand our emotional sensitivity. Because, see, some of us, our emotions are, okay, like on our sleeves. You know, like on our sleeves. It's like, boom, it's just there. I wear them on my sleeve. That's not being deficient, it's just being different. Because some people are extremely emotional.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with being extremely emotional. What we have to understand is my emotional sensitivities. And understand that I have to manage my emotions.
Yeah.
Because in life I'm going to have experiences that will affect me emotionally.
Right.
But I cannot always operate off my emotions.
That's right.
You're right.
That's right.
Because my emotions can cause me to flick off on somebody who's driving slow in a car in front of me, and I have no idea what they're dealing with.
No.
But
I know, right?
I think MVA calls it road rage.
Yeah, they do. They're trying to say that.
It's like not understanding your emotional sensitivities, so therefore you react off your emotions.
Just a little bit.
And because you do that, then I know y'all haven't had to do this before. You say something that you end up having to come back and say, you know what, I shouldn't have said that.
That's right. Wow.
Because I've responded off of my emotions.
Right.
And not off of just some practical thinking. So he says, look, when you have to wait,
Right.
your emotions have to be in check. That emotionally, because waiting can affect your emotions if you allow it.
Yeah.
So he says, don't fret. Don't fret because of those who are evil, or be envious of those who are doing wrong. What you have to understand is that's temporary. That's temporary. That's a temporary situation and not permanent.
That's right.
See, many of us respond and say some things and do some things that are going to cause permanent damage, and the situation was temporary.
Perfect.
So he says, emotionally, my emotions have to be strong. I have to keep my emotions in check when I'm waiting. When I'm waiting for that change to happen. When I'm waiting for something different I have to be emotionally strong and keep my emotions in check. But here, now check out the second thing, because here's the link. My emotions have to be in check, but I also must be spiritually connected and committed.
There you go.
Yes.
Yep.
See, waiting is hard when you're not committed spiritually.
Amen.
When your connection with God is not a connection of commitment, waiting can be extremely painful because I'm not relying on a power that's greater than me. See, impatience is a sign of I don't have the capacity yet to handle the situation.
Ooh-wee.
When I can't be patient with you or my situation or whatever it is, it's a sign that internally within me, at the moment, I don't have the capacity to handle it.
All right, Pastor.
That's why the spiritual commitment is so important in this thing called waiting, because I have to rely on somebody greater than me.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
See, when you're waiting for that relationship to get better, when you're waiting for things, for you to turn that corner, if I'm relying only on me, I don't.
Preach, Pastor. Come on.
Impatience is not a problem with somebody else. It's a situation with you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay? It's
Mm.
it's me. Let's look at verse 3 through 6. Can you pull that up real quick? It says, trust in the Lord and do good.
Right.
Dwell in the land and enjoy safe pasture. Take delight in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. Keep going. Commit your way to the Lord. Trust in him. He brings it up again. Trust in him, and he will do this.
Right.
He will make your righteous reward shine like the dawn, your vindication like the noonday sun.
Yeah.
Here, David unpacks a whole lot of stuff here. But what he repeats over and over and over again is trusting in the Lord and committing your way to him. See, for so many of us, it's a struggle to wait because trusting in God means that I trust that God knows what's best.
Come on, Pastor.
All right, now, there's something different from God knowing what's best. Now, here's where we usually land.
Right.
We just want what's best.
Right.
God knowing what's best and me just wanting to receive what's best is two different things.
Amen.
Because for some of us, we're waiting because we won't handle what's best appropriately. And God knowing what's best means that he knows that you need to wait so that you can be developed to be able to appreciate what is best.
Yeah. Yes.
See, waiting for that thing to take off, if it took off immediately, you wasted.
Yeah.
God knows that.
Yeah.
So there's those times where we have to work through, and some stuff has to be chiseled away so that when we receive what's best, we can handle what's best.
Yes. I like that part.
See, waiting requires emotional strength.
Yeah.
It requires that I'm spiritually committed to God. Not just what I can get from God.
Yes.
See, many times we'll treat God like a cosmic vending machine.
Yeah. Lottery ticket.
That if you put in your money and punch in the code, then we're supposed to get
I know, Pastor.
what it is that we punched the code in for.
Right.
And then when you punch in, you ever been to a vending machine,
Oh.
right, and it's not functioning properly?
Give me the wrong thing.
Or nothing at all.
Right. You done put your money in,
Right.
right? You done punched in the corresponding letters and numbers,
Come on, Pastor. What happened?
and it's not functioning properly.
Right. You got to kick it and shake it and throw it and slam it.
You gotta shake it.
Shake it. And we said kick it back here. We don't kick it.
Okay, and sometimes we do that to God.
Yeah, we do.
We're going to rush the process, and we need the process so that we will be able to appreciate the prize.
Yes. Yeah.
So then we go shaking God. Hurry up. Why? And look, I've been giving my money.
I know. What? Okay.
I've I started coming to Bible study, come to Sunday school, and give my money. I even sing when they sing in some of them spiritual songs they sing.
Going strong now.
Come on, that's the equivalent of putting in the right money and punching the code.
Yes, it is. Now we're going to shake him down.
And then when it's not dispensed at the time we deem appropriate.
How do we act?
All right, Pastor. Preach.
I'm talking to me. Not to you.
Oh, okay. I distinctly thought you were talking about me.
No. So there's an emotional part of this thing about waiting. There's a spiritual component where he says, delight yourself
That's right.
in the Lord. Trust in the Lord. Commit your ways to the Lord. See, some people can't get that because when you get that, you're going to act like you all that.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, just for real, God knows the intent of the heart.
Yeah, he does.
So if he just, have you ever asked God for like some crazy stuff that you, maybe not you, but I'm glad that God hasn't given me some of the stuff I asked.
Yeah, sir. On this side, I am.
Because it's crazy. So there's an emotional piece. We're going to wrap this up in a minute. There's an emotional piece. There's the spiritual part to it. Finally, David helps them to understand that there's a mental part to this thing about waiting. That look, I mentally I have to be tough
Yeah.
in order to wait. And in order to go through that process that God has me in. Emotionally, my emotions have to be in check. Spiritually, I have to be committed to God.
Yes.
But mentally, man, my mind has to be tough. Can you pull it up real quick, Jazz? He says, be still before the Lord. Now check this out. And wait patiently for him.
Yeah.
Again, he says, do not fret. When people succeed in their ways, when they carry out their wicked schemes, don't refrain from anger and turn from wrath. Again, he says, do not fret. Don't get all anxious because you see somebody else and you're on pause right now.
Yeah.
It leads only to evil. For those who are evil will be destroyed. But check it out. But those who hope in the Lord will inherit the land. In other words, there's a degree of mental toughness that we have to have. Waiting is not easy, and at times it can be painful.
Yeah.
But if mentally I remember that I cannot, I do not, I should not fret and get all anxious and anxiety and my emotions all out of whack and spiritually out of whack, because it's going to lead me down a path that will ultimately end up in evil.
Yes.
And this is what he says. For those who are evil, they'll be destroyed. He's trying, what David is trying to do is help save them from self-sabotaging ways. See, I'll be first to admit that waiting is difficult. And this society that we live in makes it even more difficult, because everything is so instantaneous. Everything happens just like that, milliseconds.
That's right.
And we can take that mentality and that mindset and channel that with God and think that God is supposed to move immediately just like that. God moves when we're ready.
Amen. Amen.
Yes, he does.
Okay.
That's why he prepares us.
And let that marinate.
Wow.
Pause for effect.
freeze.
See, when I learn to wait, right? When I learn to wait, then I become more patient with other people.
Wow.
Yes.
Thank you, God. Yeah.
I become more of a reflection of God
Yeah.
because I use the same patience God used with me.
Isn't that something? Oh, great. Oh, great.
See, when I am able to emotionally know that, hey, okay, it's not right now. That's fine. Let me get myself together. Let me, here it is, work on me.
Yeah. There it is.
I know, you praying about them.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and pray about them, but work on you. Okay, yeah, I want the business to blow up. I want, man, I'm seeing people working and doing these $1 million businesses, and mine isn't.
I know.
Because you ain't ready for $1 million. I see their marriage is like booming, and what's up with mine is that you're not ready for that.
Okay.
Waiting is hard and can be painful.
Yeah.
But we can ease some of the pain when I understand that my emotions, I just can't start flipping off out of my emotions. That my spiritual commitment needs to be a commitment to God.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
See, I know how it is. We like to judge. We've had this conversation before. We like to judge people based on their actions, but judge ourselves based on our intentions.
Yeah. I love it when you say that. Uh-huh.
Wow.
Now, so I'm going to judge you off your actions,
Right.
but I want you to judge me off my intentions. I intend,
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
I intended to come to Sunday school.
Right. I had it, you know.
I intended to read my Bible this week.
It was on my calendar.
I intended to be nicer. I intended to be a better husband. I intended to be a better wife.
That is so strong.
Waiting is a process we all have to go through. It's something we all have to deal with. But it's not something that we should allow to dominate us, because there's so much we can learn in the process of waiting. There's so much that I can learn about my emotions, about my spirituality, and about my mentality. See, again, it all comes back to me.
Yeah.
My development, my advancement. God opening those doors, God doing this, God doing that, comes back to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Waiting at times can be painful, but it's always profitable because I become the better if I embrace it. We can just rest on our feet for just a moment.